Welcome on in to Sports Memo Today, a Thursday edition. And you notice to my side over here, it only says Eric Pauly on my little scroll there. You want to know why? It's because our guy Mid-Major Matt, about 10 minutes before we were going to get ready to go for the show, he said, hey, I booked a big-time guest for my radio show in Virginia. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to bail. I got to do that recording at 2:15 Eastern, so I'm not sure how long it's going to go. Sounded like, quote the president, a bunch of malarkey to me. We had Mid-Major Matt bailing on us. So next time he's on Sports Memo Today, as he's part of our usual Thursday crew here with Eric Pauly and Mid-Major Matt. Next time he's on, make sure you hop in the live chat. Make sure you hop in the comments. And for me, give him all kinds of grief. What, Sports Memo Today isn't big enough? You got to bail on us for some other guest? All right. I'll calm down here because we still got a heavy hitter joining me on the show today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and with me is my guy, EP, Eric Pauly. This guy is rolling. You see it there on the side, a 7-2 MLB run. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, EP, how is it going, my man? What's up?
It's going really well. I love actually being in the back and getting to watch Matt's segment before I go because he drops so much knowledge on these player props and college football games always. So I'm going to be missing him today, but I'm feeling great. MLB run's looking nice. I'm in a bounce-back spot for the NFL this weekend. Been staring at an odd screen all week long, looking to find some value, and excited to talk about some things I found with you guys today.
Since we got Mid-Major Matt missing the show and he's our prop guy, I'll throw one out there for you. And I know this is like an under game. I just think this might be the Amari Cooper game. So I think his total is like around like 46.5 receiving yards. Pauly, I locked in the over on that one. I know there's wind. I think people are overblowing it a little bit. I don't really love that Steelers secondary outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick. So give me Amari Cooper over the 46.5. There's a little free play for you from the night. And hey, if it doesn't hit, definitely hop in the comments and give me all that crap that you're going to give to Mid-Major Matt next time that he's on and say, we had to go with a newbie prop because you didn't show up, Matt. So, EP, that's the one that I'm rocking with. But let's get into some of these Sunday games because you've been finding some nice edges. It was a little bit of a kind of come back down to earth weekend for you in the NFL. But all that means is we're bouncing back this weekend. Let's talk this Titans and Raiders game because the look ahead on this line and close to the opener was pick 'em. And now we got the Raiders who just got their hearts ripped out by Kyler Murray running away like a toddler who stole a cell phone all the way on into the end zone. Now they're 2-point favorites. So I got a stat to throw at you before you break this one down. Got this from Ralph Michaels, Cal Sports LV on Twitter. You can follow him, the stat daddy himself. 0-2 teams as a favorite in game number 3 since 2010, just 9-13 against the spread. So that's no take it to the bank, rip off the rubber band kind of spread. But teams that are 0-2 heading in and are favorites in that third game typically struggle. But both these teams coming in 0-2. How are you betting this one, Pauly?
Yeah, so I think the point that you made about the look-ahead line is something that was really stuck out to me. So as I've mentioned on Sports Memo Today before, and just to reiterate briefly, every week before the week is played, I set a projected line for the week after that. I look at the look-ahead line, I compare after that week is played out, I then readjust my line, and then look at the new readjusted opening lines for that new week after that week is completed. So my projected line on this Raiders-Titans game prior to the beatdown that the Titans faced against the Bills on Monday night was Tennessee -3. Look-ahead line was PK. I said, okay, I maybe gave some more stock to the Nissan Field home field advantage for the Titans. We'll see what happens on Sunday. The Titans on Monday got the absolute doors blown off them. That was a beatdown. There's really no other way to break that down. The Raiders, one of the most heartbreaking losses for a team, yet it wasn't even one of the most heartbreaking losses on Sunday, which is crazy to even say. Line reopens at Vegas -2.5. I know it is sitting at 2 in some shops, but where I like to find value here is on Tennessee in a 6-point teaser at +8.5. If you can get that 2.5, I do like it at 1.5 because you lock in the 7.5. You get your 3 covered, you get your 7 covered in that matchup because with teasers, if you push, you lose. So getting that 8 or that 7.5 is really the same thing. Ideally get the 8.5, but I know Taylor Lewan's out. I know that the Titans got, again, mauled on Monday night. But this is one of the best coach teams in the NFL. Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year last year, not because their success was kind of an anomaly. It's because if you look at the Titans' records the last couple of years, they've been playoff teams, but prior to the season starting, they've always been kind of looked at as the little brothers to the Colts when this team is just simply better. Whereas offensive line kind of struggles, the Titans will be able to pressure Derek Carr. 7.5 or 8.5 points for Tennessee at home. 0-2 should not be. They should be 0-2 because of how they play. They actually should have beat the Giants week 1. They should be 1-1. They face the Bills team that's just an absolute juggernaut. If you're taking the home team at plus 7.5 or 8.5 in a teaser, like I love to do, there's tons of value there. I'm rolling with Tennessee in a teaser for this weekend.
And I love that because even 2.5 isn't terrible, but you get to take them up all the way through that 3, all the way through 7, the low total. It meets that Stanford Wong criteria. So taking that up to 8, I love it. I, like you, bet a lot of teasers in the NFL, and not just because people call it, razor sharp market that's hard to beat. I just think points have been so valuable this year, and we've gotten burnt on some of these primetime dogs, teasing them up. If you did it with Minnesota last week, if you did it with Dallas the week prior, so it's not always guaranteed, but long term, if you're doing the statistical way to tease these games, it's the way to go on that. So I like that, and I, like you, love betting teasers, man.
And that's a great point because, of course, it's all about the break-even percentage of the teasers that you're getting. So if you're taking a 3-team teaser like I like to do at plus 180, I hit 3 of those for week 1, and I lost 3 in week 2. But on the season, I'm 8-8 on all of my NFL plays, but I'm up still 3.27 units because of the fact that I'm taking plus money bets. So while I was disappointed in myself on a 1-6 weekend this past Sunday, I'm not, really reconsidering anything because that's the nature of the bets I'm taking at plus money. So I think that's a great thing to mention, that we are getting those really valuable numbers. We're taking these points when we need to, and a couple of losses are not going to hurt you as much because you're taking plus money bets with value. It's not like we're just taking plus money bets saying, okay, this is a plus money bet. We're taking plus money bets specifically that fit criteria for plus EV bets in the long run. And you can argue it if you want, but you can't really argue with the math in the long run. So that's kind of my stance on that, and that's why I love betting the teasers. And the last point for tonight, like I mentioned, or if I haven't mentioned, I do have a teaser out for this Thursday night game tonight. It's at minus 120 odds, which I do not love. The price you get on teasers are so important. So make sure that you are trying your best if you are teasing and getting those key numbers, 7 and 3, like you definitely should be looking to get, to find the best price available in your state, in your local bookie, wherever it may be.
Yeah, and not to give out any, free advertisement or whatever, but a lot of the times when you're doing some of these teasers, if they're not your typical advantage teaser, there is a book that is run by a man who is referred to as the Prez, and not our Prez, but you can put those two together. They have a logo that's pretty iconic, and they sometimes deal teasers at minus 108. So talking about keeping some juice away, maybe that is the way to look. Let's get into this Falcons and Seahawks game, and it's funny, we were just talking about teasers. The look ahead in this one and near the opener was Seahawks 3-point favorites against the Falcons. Now the game has gotten steamed down to a pick 'em. I personally agree with the move. I already grabbed the Falcons in a teaser when you were still available to. Now it's down to pick 'em. So I don't know. This Falcons-Seahawks game was one of my favorite bets. It looks like everybody's looking towards the Falcons, which was where I was looking. How are you breaking this one down, Eric?
I think for this one, great minds think alike. It's pretty simple. So my look-ahead line, again, for this matchup was PK. Seattle -3 was when I checked. Okay, understand home field, potentially after a weekend where the Falcons showed that they have a lot more guts than I thought that they would have this season. Seahawks looked as advertised in week 2, scoring their only points on that blocked field goal, unfortunately unable to move. I do want to mention also that last weekend I had the Seahawks plus 14.5 as one of my biggest teaser legs that ended up obviously losing. And that was solely a bet against Trey Lance. Trey Lance goes down. Obviously, prayers to him and his family. I hope he's okay. But Jimmy Garoppolo is the better player. So that automatically mushed the bet on an injury. Normally, it's the other way where if you have maybe a favorite and the quarterback gets hurt, you're going to be a little bit more nervous about that bet. But in this case, the quarterback that was sitting on the bench was not the guy I wanted to see. Digression aside, after what happened in week 2, I expected this to go to a PK immediately. Sat at Seattle -2.5. Just like you, I snatched up Atlanta plus 2.5 as soon as I could. I also wanted to wait to see if it stayed there for a teaser opportunity. Unfortunately, I missed it. It's sitting at PK again. Some shops even have Atlanta as the favorite now. I think that line move is justified. The Seahawks, their week one win against Denver was more so of an indictment on how bad Denver actually looks than how good the Seahawks may be. The Falcons, despite their lack of talent across their roster, they play hard and they have something going with their offense. And their defense is actually playing a lot more aggressively. And Dean Pease has always been a great DC, so I'm shocked because their talent level is low, but their production has been great through 2 weeks. It's hard to say now because obviously hindsight's 2020 and these things moved. If you're able to get Atlanta plus 1.5, if that appears on any of your books again with good teaser lines, I would certainly throw that into a 2 or 3 team 6-point teaser. But I think, again, great minds think alike here. The Falcons should have never been dogs from my rankings in the first place. You were getting them at points. There was tons of value. So if you were able to, again, find Atlanta, still getting a +1, +1.5, certainly look to take the Falcons on the road in Seattle this weekend.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think the Falcons of this year are going to be the Lions of last year, where you constantly get value on them as underdogs. They're going to be a great teaser play. I think they're going to cover a lot of games. I don't know if they win a lot of games, but I think you can be seeing a lot of covers coming on the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see how that works out. But 2 plays for you, my guy EP. I don't know, man. Maybe we just need to start a new show called Teasers Paradise, where we just talk about, the games that we're putting up, the games that we're putting down. We may have stumbled onto a new segment here on Sports Memo today.
We certainly should. That would be a ton of value. I mean, a lot of the teasers you need to take into consideration the totals and where the line looks like it's closing. And there's definitely opportunities to capitalize in that market. I would love nothing more.
So, EP, talking about opportunities to capitalize, we talked all this football, but I think all these people who are talking football and betting football are helping find some value for guys like you who are real sharp in Major League Baseball. Since football has kind of taken over, you've been on a 7-2 MLB run. You have anything rocking for tonight? What else do you have up for clients, and what do you attribute some of that 7-2 run that you're rocking on to?
Yeah, so tonight I just have my teaser for Thursday Night Football. I looked at the MLB slate today, a lot of early games, some late games. I've been looking at the market, and there's nothing that I agree with in terms of movements. I could have put out a couple of maybe half-unit plays just for tonight, but I didn't see enough value on the board in the MLB to take those wagers. But the reason why I think I've been having so much success in baseball is I've just been keeping up to date with the betting market in the MLB, tracking which lines are moving which way, comparing them to my own numbers, and there's just so much data has been compiled over this long MLB season that now you have an understanding of what you're looking for in teams. You obviously know what teams have senses of urgency that need to make the postseason. You know, teams that are on the cusp of making the postseason that are frauds and aren't really going to do that. Look at the White Sox last night. And I've just been picking spots really well. 7-2 run, of course, is great, but what's more impressive for myself, and I hope to the audience as well, is that I'm the number 4 MLB capper on SportsMemo, up 32 units this season with a 56% winning percentage on MLB bets. And it's really sad that this season it's unfortunately going to an end. Just like playoffs in any sport, the lines get a little bit sharper there, MLB included. Series prices I do like a lot in the MLB, so maybe we'll be looking at those in the playoffs. But we got, I think it's like 10, 11, or 12 games left in the MLB season. So I am sad to see it go. But again, this kind of time where odds makers are worrying all about Thursday night football, Friday night college football, Saturday, Sunday, of course, respective college and NFL. Don't neglect baseball, because while it might not be the sexier thing to bet on, would you rather have, profits or sweat? I think I'd go with profits personally.
Every single time. Don't forget about it and ride with Eric Pauly. Head on over to his page, sm.buzz/EP. Well, man, held it down excellently with only one guest today. He's Eric Pauly. Huge thanks to you. You can catch him coming up in just a few minutes here on Full Count. Going to be alongside Kevin Thomas. So, Eric, we'll talk to you next time on Thursday. Probably talking some teasers, but appreciate you, man. So we will enjoy chatting with him next week here on Sports Memo Today, and we'll also enjoy giving all kinds of crap to Mid-Major Matt when he's back. But hopefully his interview went well, but now he's going to have to pay for it next time he's on SMT. I'm your host, Dan Alexander. Head on over to sportsmemo.com. Take advantage of the best bets that are up now. EP has a play rocking tonight. Grab that over at his page, and we will talk to you Monday here little Monday Night Football edition of Sports Memo Today here, and we'll be talking to you on Monday on Sports.